How you doing,
Man, I'm doing blacktastic.
man? I really appreciate you for jumping on the Dessie show. Shout out to producer P Buck for setting this up, and I really appreciate you being really timely with it as well.
Yes, sir.
Well, yeah. So for our viewers that that may not know who you are and what you represent, could you please tell everyone who you are and how you doing?
Well, my name is Brother Ben X. I'm a student of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. I am a financial coach who teaches people how to make money online, to become financially free or make some money on the side so that they can have some ownership by way of digital real estate, showing people how to build digital properties, get paid off of their intellectual properties. And my mission is to give life to the dead.
Yeah, absolutely, man. But yeah, so this platform that I created, my show, it was definitely spotlight individuals such as yourself. But when so much is going on in our country, I wanted to make sure that I also had real conversations and things like that. So we definitely got to get real. But before I start that, I did want to speak to you a little bit more about you said you get people in place with as far as digital currency and different things like that. So can you digital real estate. So can you talk about what it is that you do in that realm?
So right now, I have a brother that's doing $8,000 a month, a sister that's doing $3,000 a month. The brother who doing $8,000 a month got paid out $20,000 last month, even during the pandemic.
Hmm.
And one of his testimonies is that it changed his life. He's able to do for his son. His son doesn't have to need or want for anything. I had a brother who recently just got fired from his job
Hmm.
due to the quarantine, and he made $2,000 within 3 days,
Yeah.
or 3 to 4 days. And so basically what it is, I'll show you how to build digital assets online. A lot of people are into physical real estate, which
Hmm.
is fine as well. However, I know how the cash flow is when it comes to the physical real estate. The average cash flow is between 300, 500. You got to have multiple homes or like maybe an apartment building to get up to the 1,000
Yeah.
cash flow. And a lot of people are going into debt. Our company, Assets Before Splurging, with my brother Jay Taylor Jacobs, we don't necessarily teach going into debt, borrowing from the bank. So you
Uh-huh.
have people who put up 10,000, maybe 50,000. And what they'll do is they'll leverage that so they can go borrow money from the bank, but not realizing that when you have this home, yes, somebody else is paying the rent, but if they leave, the rent is on you. And if you don't pay that mortgage, then they take it. So basically, we are not the owners yet until we paid it all the way off.
Yeah.
And then even once we pay it all the way off, in certain cities, in certain states, you still got to pay taxes on the land. And if you don't pay that, everything is taken from you. So what I said is, man, it's a lot easier, man, for me to focus on digital real estate, because that physical real estate is good, but it's going to take a little time for you to build up. But I can help people make thousands in weeks, in months. And so I put it this way. Facebook is like land.
Yeah.
YouTube is like land. Instagram is like land. When you are purchasing a home, you still got to pay taxes on that home. When you're purchasing land, you still have to pay taxes on that land. Now, I may put businesses on that land, and
Yeah.
then when I get a business, that business has turned into an asset to where the land cost is not physically coming out of my pocket. Well, that's the same thing with Facebook. Facebook is going to get their cut, but then I still get paid.
Yeah.
YouTube is going to get their cut, but I'm still going to get paid. Now, we're taught that there's only 57,255,000 square miles of land. So you can only build so many properties,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it valuable. And that's why the fiat money, the currency, is not really valuable, because it's not backed by anything. And they're printing it off every day at the Federal Reserve, and it's not backed by silver and gold. So that's why it only has value as much as we believe it. But
Right.
with digital real estate, I have 2,000 plus properties with digital real estate. What do you mean by that, Brother Ben? Well, if I was to build a home, the more valuable that home is, the more cash flow it brings, right? If I bring another home and I put it up and I make it nice and I put a pool and I do this and I do that, the more valuable that particular home is, the more cash flow I bring in. Well, the more valuable my video is, the more cash it brings in. The more valuable my platform is, the more income that comes in. Then you can even get a hotel. You know how when you go to the Hilton and you say, man, I want to stay for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Or maybe you want to stay for 4 days. Well, you're going to pay $120 a day, or you're going to pay $98 a day.
Uh-huh.
And once you leave, That's it. Well, that's the same thing you can do with your Instagram, with your Facebook. If you want to stay in my room, my house that I've built up for 24 hours, it's going to cost you $100. It's going to cost you $500. Then after those 24 hours, you leave and I take the post down. So when you start to think about it like that, you say, man, the limit, there's really no limits. And then I'm going to lastly give you this.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been on your page? Have you ever been searching for something, or even probably on a cell phone? I think they tap into our cell phone. You ever been talking about something and then you go on Facebook and you scroll and you say, man, here it is right there. I was just talking about that. Yeah. That's because Facebook has so much knowledge about us. They know so much about us that you can target exactly who you're looking for. So if you understand the ads that I brought people in to teach us, the ad formulas to reach exactly who you're looking for, if we do an ad and you reach 50,000 people, now we're talking about 50,000 people with your ad. Let's say you got a product that's just $100, but you reach 50,000 people and you got the right content and you got value and you've been doing your content marketing. Let's say out of those 50,000 people, 500 buy from you. Now, listen to what I said. Out of 50,000, only 500 buy. Now, you do 500 times $100. That's a lot of money. That ain't a lot of people making at this time, and it's online. So that's just a little bit of introduction about the digital real estate.
Okay, that's great. So, so I want to go back a little bit, and I know we're on time for you. So, how did you get involved with, with the teaching of the FOI?
Well, I was an All-American basketball player. I thought basketball was going to be my lane. But I was at school one time and a brother came and spoke at my school about the role of the male and the female. And he was also an entrepreneur. And he was also living in a living example of the teachings of an FOI. So his children graduated high school at the age of 15, 16. Early, all homeschooled, never been to the public school, all worked for their dad who has been doing for self over, 10 years. And then the FOI, they didn't go down and condemn the brothers in the streets. They went down and lifted the brothers up. So instead of talking about his pants being sagging on his behind, they just lifted up his mind. And so I seen they didn't judge people who had tattoos. They didn't judge people who was out here rapping because they understood that they're not doing that because that's how they are. They doing that because of the circumstance. So I said, man, they ain't out here condemning people and judging people. They really by helping people. Then when I began to talk to the FOI, and this brother used to be a murderer. This brother used to be a thief. This sister here used to be a prostitute. And then the teachings was able to clean them up to where a brother was once killed and now he's out serving. So after I began to look at Muhammad Ali, who I was inspired by a lot because, of course, he was an athlete. So when he was in the nation, he had a personality. He's funny and I got a personality. And some people say I'm funny as well. But he stood on truth and he wasn't scared to speak truth to power. So I watched a lot of his interviews and I like how he defended himself. And I started looking at. And then I start to watch the minister's lectures in context. Of course, there's a lot of lies out there. People take clips, make him say something he didn't say. But I began to really look at his lectures in full. And a lot of the questions that I had about the Bible, a lot of the questions that I had about life, he answered them for me. He made me understood that, hold on, God is within. Ain't no God in the sky saying, I want you to be poor and I want you to be rich. He said, no, he showed me how that force and power dwells within. He said, yes, we can pray, get our mind right, get our spirit right, but we got to go out and do something in order to change our lives. He said self-improvement is the basis for community development. We can't keep blaming everybody else and the enemy alone. We got to look at the enemy on the inside. So as I began to look at that, man, and I started to apply it for myself, I saw results. And then even before I joined the nation, I was sharing it out with people and people was responding saying, man, this helped me out. I decided not to commit suicide. So I'm not a psychiatrist, but me just sharing the teachings have helped many people say, man, I was thinking about committing suicide. Man, I was dirt poor. I was doing this. Man, I'm now 100% provider of my family now. And I'm just sharing the teaching. So I said, ooh, there's some powerful stuff, man. So I went ahead and joined, man, because of the example that I seen. Many people read Message to the Black Man. Many people heard the minister speak. Many people been to the Million Man March. But I said, let me apply it. And that's why I'm so confident in when I speak. So when I talk about the still away method that he gave us about how to get off the white man job, I did it. So you can say what a minister or I applied it and I know that it works. So that's why, I was confident in joining.
And I listened to a lot of his teachings and things like that. I definitely don't claim to be, in it, but I do understand it And even in times like these, like you you know, the positive message that you send out to us and the organization. That's what I always was attracted to. That is, um, so can you out with everything currently going on in the world, protest and everything like that, and the plan of action? So, kind of what are the talks going on right
Man, there's a lot of confusion right now, I think, and we are in need of divine guidance. And I think that at this time, I think we have to check our intention.
now? Yeah,
And this is what I mean by that. If I'm going out to protest, just to say what somebody else not doing, I'm doing it for the wrong reasons. The Nation of Islam has been out many times during times like this. There's pictures, there's videos. Families who have been killed can tell you exactly what the Nation of Islam done. And some of these people who say things against the nation, names probably are not heard of or even known. The Nation of Islam, we are more so a proactive organization. We want to stop things from happening. Many people are speaking about protect, but the word protect means to keep away from harm, not wait till something happens, then react to the situation. So when we talk about separation for us is going to always be the answer. You can go out there and you say, well, we got to do this right here. That's why I've been asking, okay, brother, let's remove the emotions. What are the results?
yes,
What are the results? Because I can go outside for 10 minutes and 5 minutes and film myself and saying this, and that's cool. I get it. See, we don't condemn our people. We understand their energy. We understand their spirit. But we also on the back end have to have a program for them to go into. After this dies down,
yeah,
your children going to need a school to go to.
absolutely.
After this dies down, and then anything happens to you, your son going to need some cash flow. So it sounds good on Instagram and it sounds good on Facebook when we going over to somebody else's pages and we condemning people. But when you go back home, you're going back home to a reality.
Yeah.
And our children is not going to accept, well, this dude on social media or this sister on social media that stayed 5,000 away, son, they didn't do something, so that's why we in this condition. Your son ain't gonna take that.
Right.
They're not taking that as no excuse. So I believe what we got to do is focus on operational unity. And I said this on an interview the other day. My heart is important. My kidney is important. My liver is important. My back is important. My neck is important. All of these things are important. And if we damage any of the ones I just said bad enough, our entire body can die.
Absolutely.
So instead of me being the heart telling the liver, you should pump like me. Instead of the liver saying to my lung, you should act like me. You should do what I'm doing because I'm important. No, man, we all are needed. So if one is messed up, if that can make us die, then let everybody do their particular lane. And if you ever want to encourage somebody to do something better, let's do it with the right spirit and be willing to share your results. If the results is that I just did something, I'm sorry, but that ain't enough.
Yeah.
If we're going to go out condemning people, if somebody asks you what was the tangible results, give me 3 of them. And you can't, and all you can do is say, well, I just, I did something. Then at that point, we have to just lower our emotions and increase in our logic. Logically, we shouldn't be condemning nobody else if we haven't got any tangible results that's going to put our children in a better condition. So what I think the solution is, me personally, is to gather and let the people continue to unite because it's good. And we know that agent provocateurs are out there as well starting things. And unfortunately, our people follow that. Because yes, there's been a lot of white folks who are in these videos, but we know there's been a lot of black people as well who has followed behind this. So I think what needs to happen is we need to use this as a microcosm for the macro change that we can cause. So if this many people can unite and say they really about the people, if they all focused on self-improvement and put up $2,000, let's get a school then. See what I'm saying? That's action right there. And see, what we got to realize is obedience is the highest form of sacrifice. What do I mean by this? By that? Obedience is separation. Obedience is us understanding what we got to do on a day-to-day basis, not just only when somebody dies. You understand what I'm saying? Because that's what's going to bring about the ultimate change. I can sacrifice. Somebody can sacrifice and go outside. Somebody can sacrifice and go live on an Instagram and take a picture and say, see, I was out there. But the obedience is self-improvement to put my money where my mouth is. Put my money where my legs is, and let's build a school so our children don't have to go into their school, which we say is against us. Let's put 2,000 up. Let's put 1,000. Let's put 500 up.
Yeah.
And let's all come together since there's so many people out there. Everybody put up 500 and let's get a restaurant or let's support a black farmer so that we won't be killing ourselves with the food. So we go out there and we say they killing us, but then we put poison in our body every day, killing us day after day, night after night.
Yeah. And that's interesting. You know, when you the food, because we just talked about, you know, like currently we're talking about the different companies that are supporting Donald Trump and how we should not, you know, do business with these businesses. You know, we shouldn't buy food from them. We shouldn't go to these restaurants. We shouldn't support certain companies that support Trump. So it's like, yeah, I understand that, but we need to have things in place that we can support.
That's right.
You know, especially in the hood, most places are kind of, you know, they're called food deserts. They don't have the right food in some of these areas. So that as well.
Yeah, if we're gonna burn anything down, what are we gonna go into? I said the other day, if I'm gonna leave the plantation, where am I going into?
Yeah.
If I'm gonna burn the plantation where I was living at, unfortunately, well, hell, what is my home?
Yes.
So I think, like I said, man, we just got to get back down to the intention and understand what our ultimate goal is. Is our ultimate goal to be totally separated so we don't have to deal with them? Or is it just to say that we did something? I think that is the ultimate question that we have to ask ourselves. Because like you said, we have to have something of our own. And we have to ask ourselves, what is work? When somebody has built land or bought land, when somebody is actually growing food that can be sent out to you, if you get involved, that is the work. When somebody has built a school, built up a program that you don't even have to think about, which has several people that has results from that program, that is the work. When you got people who have sacrificed their life to build businesses, to bring value and services to the people, that also hires black people, that is the work.
Yeah.
Because and this is what I think gonna hit us dead in the chest. And I understand some people in the comment section may not like this, but people are going after people who's not protesting, right? Because they should be. We not gonna stop until the police are killed, right?
Yeah.
All right. If that's your stance, thank you. However, do not go condemn somebody else because 3 weeks ago you wasn't protesting.
That's very true.
Listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. 3 weeks ago you wasn't protesting. 4 weeks ago, you wasn't protesting. 5 weeks ago, you wasn't protesting. Why are you bringing this up, Brother Ben? Because Trayvon Martin still ain't got justice.
Yeah.
Mike Brown still ain't got justice. Philando Castile still ain't got justice. There's many people who ain't still got justice. So if it was really about I ain't gonna stop until something is done, you would have still been protesting for our brothers and sisters. So history shows us that eventually it's gonna die down. Yeah. And eventually we're gonna have to come back to doing the real work. Not saying that's not work, but come back to doing the tangible work that's gonna cause change for yourself and your future. So before you condemn somebody else for not being out there, realize 3 weeks ago somebody was putting in some work when you was just on your job. 4 weeks ago somebody was putting in work when you were just living your regular life and black power wasn't even on your mind. But as you see, even these white companies, they have to come out because it's a trend. Absolutely. They have to come out because the people are asking and going after them for not speaking. So everybody just feel obligated to speak. But when you're not obligated to speak, have you spoke? That's the question we have to ask ourselves individually.
Yeah, and that's why we can't operate by emotion alone, because it has to be consistent over time versus just doing it just one time and that's kind of it. Yeah. I partner with an organization called Pull Up Neighbor, where we've been, giving out masks in different underserved communities and things like that. Because while all of this is going on, we still haven't addressed COVID.
That's a fact. People still getting sick.
Yeah, people are definitely getting sick, and now I'm starting to hear how people are getting sick that have been protesting. Yeah. Because people aren't out there with masks on. People just kind of all gathered up together. So we definitely have to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves while we're doing this work too.
Yeah. So
yeah, man. So I thank you so much for being on today, and I want to get you out of here on this last question. So what's next? How can we help? If you're somebody like me, I call myself an advocate because I try to give a spotlight to people such as yourself and people that are trying to help us grow. So what's the next step? If people are on the comments and wanting to know what to do next, I know you talked about self-improvement. What else can we do, and how can we support you?
Let me dig more into the self-improvement before I get to the other thing.
Yeah.
Because self-improvement is a lot. Like, for example, when people say, what should we do next? What do I need to do? You know what we need to do. I'm not talking about you, but they know. You know, only you know what your flaws is. I don't know if your flaws is you're addicted to something that you shouldn't be addicted to. I don't know if your flaws is you don't know how to contain not eating 60 times a day. I don't know if your flaws is you don't know how to stay focused on one task and get it done. I don't know if your flaws is just launching out in anger and you don't know how to control your emotions. So only we know what our individual struggle is. So first of all, start right there. Second, focus on separation. We know that the white man gets us through the school. If we say, and many people agree, I didn't learn nothing in school.
Yeah.
Many people say, I got a degree and I ain't even using it. Yeah. Many people say, when I was in school, I didn't learn nothing about Marcus Garvey. I didn't learn nothing about the real teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad or Malcolm X or Huey P. Newton or Noble Drew Ali. I didn't learn all that. Well, if you know your children aren't learning knowledge itself, number one, get your children out to public school. Because see, back in slavery, they separated the mother, separated the father, so they can bring up the son, so they can bring up the daughter. So when you got men who saying my woman is obligated to give me 50% of the rent and he values 50% of the income more than he values his children coming up correctly, then maybe we're going to continue to repeat this cycle. Yeah. Because you can tell your son all day long, baby, you need to be right. We got morals, but then you dropping them off 7 to 8 hours a day with somebody else. Yeah. You telling your son, you better be careful, son. Don't be out here. But then he's coming to school. Women, these little girls, they got their nipples out. You know what's going on during lunch breaks. Your son know what's going on when everybody coming home, when you still at work. You think he's not going to be persuaded to do some of these things? You think he's not going to be persuaded to get in some of these things? You mad because your son cussing? You mad because your daughter cussing, but you sending them somewhere 7 to 8 hours a day where they going to be cussing? You don't think he's going to get influenced? When we as adults have a hard time controlling ourselves. We as adults have a hard time struggling what we struggle with. You expect a 14-year-old to go against this? Yeah. So when the white man puts it in the school, when he puts it in the movies, when he puts it in all these different things, we got to figure out how we can separate. How can I find a black farmer who has food, who can ship me some food just in case anything shuts down in our community? Yeah. That's another thing. The businesses. How can I separate myself from the white man's job? Because guess what? When quarantine is over with, bills is still due. When quarantine is over with, your son's still going to need education. When quarantine is over with, your children still going to need food. What are you saying, Brother Ben? If I say, hey, we need to boycott, or we finna do something in the community from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, what happens when over 70% say, fam, I'm not going to make it. I'm in work right now. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So now we got to separate ourselves financially so that we can use a creative mind to do what we want to do. Or if anybody has a plan, I'm available to be there. Yeah. And so my children still going to need somewhere to go. I still got bills to pay. I don't care how mad we get, how emotional we get. We still going to have bills and we still going to have responsibility. So if you're still working on this job, separate from the job. See, it's easy to talk about these, but these are things individually we must do. Right. All right. And so now we got to prepare our homes. Number 4. I don't know which number I'm on, but I'm just giving it down. Prepare your homes with food and water. See, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan been telling us a long time to prepare your homes, and people laughed at him. What we need to prepare our home for, it ain't that serious. Now you seeing sisters doing Instagram videos crying because the grocery stores is destroyed. Yeah. You seeing sisters crying because they don't have any jobs. You see brothers upset and depressed because they don't have any jobs and they can't go out and get anything because it's being burnt up now. But if we would have prepared food in our homes, water in our homes, then we wouldn't have to deal with some of these things. Right. So, and then we got to get and see how we can become and get into some international trading, either with China, it's funny that may sound, or with Africa. Yeah. And for those who's wondering, I'm setting it up right now with Africa, with a couple brothers. You know, we ain't saying everything, but we putting that play together with an African connection where we can own businesses, own land, and we ain't got to pay property tax over there. I had a great conversation last night with a brother who's in Africa. He said we can get some land over there in Africa where you ain't got to pay no land taxes. Anytime you want to go, you can go stay over there, ain't got to pay nothing. So we setting that play up. You can get businesses, manufacturers, own schools over there. And because of the currency exchange, you can do a little bit more. So we setting that play up. So whatever you got to do personally, that is the solution. Then getting with a leader who got solutions. I don't care if it's 19 Keys, Billionaire PA, Dead Grace 2, my son. I don't care if it's myself. I don't care if it's Riza Islam. We can no longer say that there's no guidance out here. I'm not agreeing with that. And guess what? Even if social media didn't exist, you still got the book of Malcolm X, since you say that's your leader. You still got Marcus Garvey book, since you say he's the leader. You still got Noble Drew Ali book. So it's not about the physical finite being. It's about the infinite or infinite wisdom that dwells within inside of a human being. So you're not following necessarily a person's body, because what we going to do when this person dies? Everybody's going to die. So it's about the knowledge. The knowledge is available on YouTube, on Google. It's everywhere. You just got to pick which one works for you. You got to pick which one you're going to go with and then go apply it. I'm tired of hearing people say there's no guidance. It's guidance in abundance out here with the social media realm. You just ain't applied it. People say I went to 10, 10, 15. People say I went to the Million Man March in 1995. When I ask you, what did you apply from 1995, and you have no answer, that's the problem. When I ask you, what did you apply from 10, 10, 15, and you have no answer, that's the problem. The problem is not people not guiding. The problem is us as followers. I'm going to just say it. It's on us now. We can no longer blame a church, a pastor, because that pastor who reading from the Bible, you can go into the Bible and see where it says, ye are all gods. You can see in the Bible where it says he wants us to have life more abundantly. You can look in the Bible, since you say that's what's deceiving us, where it says that the borrower will always be a slave to the lender. So why are we always trying to borrow from somebody? It said he gonna bless us to lend to many nations. What that means, that if I can lend, that means I got a little money on me then. That means that he don't want me to be broke, don't it? It also says that the kingdom of heaven is within you, not in the sky and the sweet by and by after we die. It's within us. So in order for us to have heaven, it's something that we have to do as individuals and as a people to make it happen. Then you say, I ain't gotta put the work in. That's for somebody. Well, look at John 14:12. John 14:12 says, those who believe will do the works that I'm doing. Well, what works did he do? Give sight to the blind, give life to the dead, make the deaf hear, make the dumb speak, with a word that wakes a person up to make them realize that I am a God and I can change my condition. And I'm not going to blame my condition on another man or another woman, because once I do that, when they die, I'm going to be ASS out. And we don't want to be in that kind of condition.
My brother, man, thank you so much for doing this today. I would love to have you back on, at some point, because I want to continue to help you spread your message and things like that, and I want to connect with you offline as well, so I can do my part also. So please keep me posted on everything that you're working on and your work. And if people are on here and they don't follow you, please make sure you follow him. And what's your website?
Man, I don't really have a website like that, but you can just click the link in my bio. Anybody who's interested in digital real estate, it is currently 50% off until June 6th. My digital real estate includes me going live with you every week. So it's not a course where you just get in and you doing everything by yourself. I literally have a private Facebook group where they all help each other. We literally go live every Thursday forever. Until anything changes, where we get to delve in and see what your challenges is and help you. So digital real estate, whether if you want to buy merch, whether if you want to buy my book, whether if you want to anything else, all the links is in my bio and my caption.
Man, I appreciate you so much, my brother, and I look forward to connecting with you soon.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Peace.